It took me so long to figure out how full stack works, how frontend and backend are linked together, how routing works, how API works, and so on. So I'm making a quick guide on how full stack works so that you can get an overview to help you with your learning journey. So let's go. How the frontend and backend communicate with each other is through request and response. The frontend will send a request to the backend so that the backend can interact with the database. It can either get all the data, get a single data, post a single data, update a single data, and delete a single data from the database. The backend will then fulfill the request, for example get a single data, and then send the response back to the frontend so that it can display it. The response is usually in the form of JSON, where it consists of the user that has been deleted, for example. The frontend is basically what the user sees, and the backend is the behind the scenes magic handling the data, storage, handling, and etc. When a user visits a route in the frontend, like http://website/users for example, they see a page showing a list of users. But you may be asking, where does a list of users come from? Good question. The backend also have routes, but it serves a different purpose than the frontend route. What do I mean? In the frontend, the route is blah 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 /users, but in the backend, the route is blah 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 /API/users. What is the difference? The route in the frontend is more of a destination that the user will go to when they go to this route. It is a path to a specific page. But the route in the backend is not a destination. It is more like a locker, where you need a key to this route to access the things inside. But you may be asking, what is the key and what is the thing inside? The key to open the backend routes is the function called fetch, which is used in the frontend. This is where the magic happens. In the frontend, the fetch request is called with the API route inside it. Take note is /API/blah blah. In this case, is users. This fetch request will go to this API route and access the things inside it. So far so good. Now, this fetch request is used to get all the data, get a single data, post a single data, update a single data, and delete a single data from the database for each route. To get, post, update, and delete is called methods. The default method is a get method. The whole process is a request, but the get, update, post, and delete is a method of the request to interact with the database. Think of these requests like lockers stacked on top of one another. One for the get request for all data to the API route, one for get request for a single data to the API route, one for the delete request for a single data to the API route, and one for the update request for a single data to the API route. Let's say when the user goes to https://whatever/users, it calls https://whatever/API/users and will retrieve the users using the get request by default. So the backend will go and see which locker is the get request for this API route. Oh, is this? Then it will access the things inside it. When the user deletes a user by pressing a button, let's say, the button will call http://whatever/API/users/:id. And must specify that it is a delete request as it is not a default method. The :ID means specific user with this ID, which was automatically assigned when you added the user into the database. The backend will then go to the locker to see which is the delete request for this API route, then access the things inside it. You might be wondering, what is all these things that is inside the lockers that you are talking about? Good question. Notice how the whole time, when you are opening the API route to delete a specific user for example, that it actually doesn't delete the user. You are just opening, closing, and unlocking the lockers. So guess what? The thing inside it is the actual function to delete the user in this case. This will then produce a JSON response and a status code. This JSON response will then be transferred over to the frontend to continue the rest of the process of the app. So in summary, the user navigates to http://whatever/users in the browser. The server serves the frontend which displays the page, for example, a list of users. The frontend makes an API call to http://whatever/API/users to fetch data with a get method. The API handles the request and sends a JSON response back to the frontend which updates the UI dynamically. So yeah, this is how I learned how full stack works. Anyways, that's my opinion.